The adventure begins with perhaps the most important decision of the entire project: finding the perfect place to build. Deep in the Canadian wilderness, our builder chooses a peaceful spot surrounded by trees and fresh air. Basically the kind of location where your nearest neighbor is probably a squirrel. With the location selected, the real work begins. He heads into the forest and starts cutting suitable trees for the cabin. Each tree is carefully processed, with the bark removed and the logs collected for construction. There's no lumberyard around the corner here, so if he needs building material, he has to go find one himself. Next comes the foundation. The builder creates a strong, square frame using thick planks, then reinforces it with sturdy, fresh logs. It may look simple, but this foundation has a very important job: keeping the entire cabin stable and supporting everything that comes later. Of course, the wilderness doesn't provide perfectly flat construction sites. The foundation is sitting unevenly, so our builder gets creative. Instead of calling a contractor, or perhaps complaining to Mother Nature, he places large stones underneath the frame to bring everything into level. It's a surprisingly effective solution, and those rocks are about to become some very important cabin furniture. With the foundation properly supported, it's finally time to start building upward. The previously collected logs are brought into position one by one. Each log is carefully fitted along the sides, gradually transforming the simple foundation into the beginnings of a real cabin. Layer by layer, the walls begin to rise, and you can finally see the shape of the shelter taking form. At the same time, the door frame is installed directly into the growing wall structure. This is important because the doorway needs to become part of the cabin, rather than looking like someone remembered the door 5 minutes before moving in. As more logs are stacked, each one is secured firmly with long screws. The process may look slow, but every connection matters. These logs aren't just being piled on top of each other, They're being carefully joined to create a strong and durable structure. And considering this entire operation is happening deep in the Canadian wilderness, with one man doing the heavy lifting himself, the progress is seriously impressive. No big construction crew, no convenient hardware store nearby, just determination, tools, and a whole lot of logs. With the walls steadily climbing higher, our builder now has another important task on his hands: making room for the windows. Just like the doorway, each window opening is carefully planned and built directly into the log walls. There's no cutting random holes later and hoping everything works out. The creator is highly skilled in bushcraft, carpentry, and forestry. They are best known for building a traditional log cabin completely solo from the ground up. They utilize traditional building techniques, such as the butt and pass log method, and constructing natural moss roofs, alongside modern tools like chainsaws and portable sawmills. As the logs are stacked around the openings, the window frames become deeply integrated into the structure. This not only gives the cabin a solid appearance, but also helps create a strong connection between the wooden walls and the future windows. Eventually, the walls reach their intended height, and the cabin finally starts looking like a proper little home, rather than an ambitious pile of logs. But now comes another major challenge: the roof. The builder begins constructing a pitched roof frame, creating the angled structure that will eventually protect the cabin from the elements. A pitched roof is also a smart choice for a wilderness cabin, because its slope helps rain and snow move away from the structure, instead of sitting on top like an unwanted winter guest. While the roof framing takes shape, the builder also extends the wooden structure toward the porch area. And honestly, this addition gives the cabin a whole new personality. The porch extends naturally from the main structure, creating a beautiful covered space that will eventually be perfect for sitting outside, enjoying the wilderness, and pretending that checking your phone is still possible out here. Once the main framing is complete, there are plenty of wooden ends and protruding sections that aren't needed. So the builder trims away the excess, cleaning up the structure and giving everything a much more precise appearance. Before moving further, the exposed wood receives an important protective treatment. Varnish is applied to help protect the timber from moisture and the harsh conditions of the wilderness. After all, these logs have already done enough work. They deserve a little skin care. Now attention turns back to the roof. The builder installs a vapor barrier beneath the pitched roof structure. This layer helps control moisture movement and contributes to the cabin's overall insulation and protection. In a remote environment where temperature and weather can change dramatically, keeping moisture under control is extremely important. And he doesn't stop there. The first protective layer is then covered with a nylon sheet, adding another barrier against moisture and the elements. This extra layer helps improve the roof's durability and provides additional protection for everything underneath. Step by step, the cabin is becoming more than just a collection of logs. The walls are complete, the windows are taking shape, the porch is extending outward, and the roof now has the beginnings of a proper protective system. For a one-man construction project in the middle of the Canadian wilderness, this is seriously impressive progress. And the best part is, he's doing it all without turning the forest into a construction site full of machinery and workers. With the main structure taking shape, our builder now turns his attention to the inside of the cabin. He begins by fitting plywood sheets onto the floor frame, creating a solid and practical floor. Suddenly, the interior looks much less like a construction site and much more like a place where someone could actually live. Next comes the door. The wooden door has already been prepared, so now it gets its hinges. With a few careful adjustments, the door is ready to swing open and close. Because even a remote wilderness cabin needs a proper entrance. Otherwise, you're basically just building a very expensive box with no invitation system. Outside, the porch receives some attention too. Wooden planks are installed across the porch frame, creating a warm and attractive floor that complements the natural log walls. This little outdoor space is quickly becoming one of the cabin's best features. But before calling the job finished, the builder makes sure the wood is properly protected. Protective varnish is applied across the wooden components, helping shield them from moisture, weather, and the general abuse that comes with living in the wilderness. Then comes one of the most interesting parts of the build. Instead of using modern materials to fill the gaps between the logs, the builder collects natural moss and carefully packs it into the spaces. It's an old-school technique that fits perfectly with the surroundings. Mother Nature provided the insulation material, so why not put it to work? The porch gets another upgrade as well. A wooden guardrail is constructed around the edge, adding both safety and visual appeal. It gives the cabin a more finished appearance while making the porch feel like a proper outdoor living area. Now attention shifts upward to the roof. A large tarpaulin sheet is placed over the roof structure and securely fixed into position. This provides an additional protective layer against rain and moisture, which is especially important for a cabin sitting right in the middle of the Canadian wilderness. But there's still one very unusual finishing touch coming. Before covering the roof with moss, the builder installs a rope barrier along the edges. The purpose is simple: keep the moss where it belongs. Without this barrier, the next heavy rain could turn the carefully built green roof into a slow-motion landslide. Finally, the natural moss is added to the roof, giving the cabin an incredible appearance that blends beautifully into its forest surroundings. Instead of looking like a modern structure dropped into the wilderness, the cabin almost appears to have grown there. And just like that, the remote log cabin is complete. From cutting trees and building the foundation to raising the walls, framing the roof, installing the porch, sealing the logs, and creating a natural moss roof, this one-man project has transformed raw materials into a genuinely beautiful wilderness retreat. Not bad for a guy who apparently decided that building a cabin alone in the forest sounded like a perfectly normal weekend project.